Ladies and gentlemen, it is Eddie Marcus here again, spokesman and advocate of basic human rights for all people. Down in Mississippi, playing the part of a first responder along with my wife to relatives. And it is so hot here. I mean, it is truly, truly hot. And you consider the pandemic that's all over this nation. So you go places you don't see people. People are not, you don't see people like normal. Parks are closed, and in the communities, most of the folks are in the house because it's so hot. And, that's just a sign that the times have changed. Ladies and gentlemen, I know, you the same things I see, you see, and it probably affects you the same as it affects me. I want you to know, though, ladies and gentlemen, that I still believe in God. I believe that this earth was made by others outside of men, and I don't have any truth of exactly what it was, so like everybody else, I call it God. I really am sold on God because there was once as a kid I was throwing my life away. I didn't know I was throwing my life away. I was doing something that I had never done before, and many people who tried to do it the way I was doing it, as far as I know, I never known anybody to survive. Yet my confidence was that I would, and so I challenged it anyway. The outcome of that was that a miracle happened, and I didn't die. I was realized in the middle of the event that it was something miraculous that got me out of it, and I called that God. And I saw that as being an expression of love. So I called that God. And as I became a man, I recognized that it was really important to be more than just a problem maker. That it was nice to do good things. And I thought about how God had been good to me as I perceived it. And believing in it and accepting it, I wanted to do the same things to others. I wanted to be the answer to the prayers that I know only people would be the answer to. See, I didn't see God as one that would give one person a house and not give another person a house with no explanation. Now, some might say, well, if he saved you in a situation that you were in, and others have been in that situation and he didn't save them, what was the difference? Well, the difference for me is that I saw it as giving me a new mission in life. And that mission would involve what I have been doing since, like what I've been doing right now, telling you about God. Now, when George Floyd was killed, I think now we must take a moment and reflect. When we think about religion and all the churches and stuff like this, every last one of us who talk religion and stuff like that, we think what we know is it. And everything different that others say, we want to challenge it. And none of us know exactly what we are talking about. That is the absolute truth. For instance, when George Floyd was killed and murdered in Minneapolis, Minnesota, me being 81 years old, excuse me, y'all, me being 70 years old, and having the experience of seeing so much, and being a social scientist on top of that, and having an expression of love within for others. Now, before I go to George, when I say I love others, that don't mean I'm always right. I got relatives who hate me, not because I'm a hateful Negro, but because they don't like what I say. I got them on my mother's side, my sisters and brothers on my mother's side. I got them on my sisters and brothers on my father's side. I have to live with that. My intention is not to hurt anyone, and I'm sure others don't want to hurt me. But I'm calling it as I see it. Otherwise, I'm not being honest. So let me give you a picture of what I'm talking about. George Floyd was murdered. To me, this is what I saw. I saw the message from the divine I call God, saying to me that this represented the power structure of America, white folks. And I'm seeing this after 400 years, well, a whole lifetime, but for 400 years more specifically, of people of color and black folks being treated as second-class citizens. Exploited. for whatever purpose the powers wanted to do. 400 years. And then to see this again with white people, Trump, all the major powers. I'm talking about the powers that be. I'm talking, yeah, you got black people in power. Well, we know where the power is. And so when you see this, the message is that this is the white power structure in America, using the police system to carry out whatever it wants carried out that they can carry out. And for this particular purpose, is to kill black people. Anytime they can get a hand and get a chance and think they can get away with it, to kill black people. Now, beyond that, I saw George Floyd. George Floyd was hurting. He was going through all kinds of changes as I see it. He was expressing the 400 years of suffering that black people have gone through. 400 years of suffering that any people have gone through and under any government. Nobody could be excused. That's why it was visualized on the media's sources all over the globe. It was a statement to all of us who are oppressed. We are oppressed because we're living in a system that does not know how to relieve oppression or are benefiting from the oppression. That's what I saw. Now, when I saw the people taking pictures and saying, get up, you're killing him. To me, I'm just going to tell you, ladies and gentlemen, to me that represented all the United States citizens. It represented all the people of the earth, wherever they were marching at, wherever they were aware of this. This standing there taking pictures represented the whole dead blasted world, even including me. And what was the message? The message that everything they was doing wasn't serving God. I know taking pictures, I know saying get up, you think you're doing something good, but that wasn't serving God to me. Why? Because George Floyd died. So that ain't God to me. Let me tell you what I mean. When I saw the knee on the man's neck, that was the devil. It wasn't a mystery figure. It was the devil in that cot with his knee on his neck. That was the devil. When I saw the people doing what they were doing, they were people who were cowards, people who were pretending. Pretending, yes, I said pretending. These represented the organizations. These represented the churches, the religious organizations. Yes, they represented the religious organizations. Why do I say that? Because it had the same effect. If one person, just one person, had taken a rock, hit the police side of the head, thrown a brick, hit the police side of the head, or dived over there and knocked that policeman off of George Floyd and saved his life, then to me, that would have been God. And so, in my understanding of things, in that moment in time, God was not there. God was not there. And in our society today, where that continues to happen, it happens because God is not here. That is why the virus, as I can see it, in America, doesn't matter to me whether it came out of a test tube or whether it was magically pushed out there. It's a statement that we are being judged. We are being judged for you know what. And it's basically saying we ain't fit to live. But it's giving us a chance, giving us a choice to make some changes if we want to. I'm watching The View today. Oh man, you got the people sitting up there talking about this. You got all that hate exhibited right there in your face. Now, I'm not going to try to point out who had the hate. If you know what hate is, you know where it is if you saw The View. And so I'm saying to you, ladies and gentlemen, you know, I'm kind of, when it comes down to God now, I'm just going to tell you, y'all better get your own God. You better find somebody or something if you want to. I'm not saying you got to. But I want to tell you something. All of this stuff going around about what God is doing and all these people explaining God my way and God this way. And every time they can come at you, they can come at you viciously. They will attack you. Like exactly using scripture. Like they know what they're talking about. Have no idea what that scripture really means. All they can associate that scripture with is what they have been taught in this country. Their understanding, their indoctrination of this country helps formulate what scriptures mean. And it doesn't mean it had nothing to do with truth. Because truth comes through inspiration. Truth comes through spirit. Truth comes through the giver of truth. And it ain't us. So, ladies and gentlemen, I guess what I'm saying is that I don't want to be caught up in that mess where I'm telling you one thing about God and somebody else telling you one thing about God and you just being confused about God as you can possibly be, and all of a sudden you settle on one side of God. Now you think you got it and you out there doing the same thing we've been doing all the time. I'm just going to start telling you how it affects me. I'm going to tell you this. I'm not God, and I'm pissed off with the American society. I'm pissed off because I have learned without a shadow of doubt that beings can live and have their needs and their wants and their desires met. I know that in order to survive even a little bit, you need food, clothing, shelter, education, and health care. I know that. That's just the beginning, not all of it. And I know it has been prepared that these things can happen because they're happening every day. It's just being manipulated. And you know, I think that it is better for me just to tell you my own story. When I come to you and talk to you, I'm not going to tell you about God, nothing. If I tell you about me, as far as you can associate God with that, or then it's fine. But me trying to teach you something about God, about going to some heaven, I have no idea about heaven. I have heard, I don't know for a fact, that nobody has gone to heaven and come back. And so they can't tell you anything about heaven. I know I've never been to, let me see, one of these countries. Let me see. I've never been to China. And without reading a book or seeing a movie, I could not tell you anything about China. And even if I try to tell you something about China because I read a book or a movie, I don't know if it's true. The movie might not have nothing to do with being in China. Could have happened in New York City, in Chinatown. So I don't know what's going on. So I'm not going to be spending my rest of my life trying to tell you this about God, that about God. All I'm going to tell you is this. I didn't make myself. And I am who I am. And I stand on what I am. And I am not ashamed. And I thank whoever brought me to this point, got me here. And you know what, ladies and gentlemen? I'm satisfied with it. And I'll tell you this. I spent the last 40 years of my life trying to engage myself in a process that could make this a more beautiful nation. And as far as I can see, it's a long way from that. So, I would like to say, it's been a nice ride. It's been a nice ride. And if I could make a difference, I would like to be here. But not having any ability to affect change in a positive manner, I really have no interest in being here. So I just want to tell you, ladies and gentlemen, don't follow me. Anything I have ever said, don't follow me. Follow whatever is you. Follow whatever is you. Let you take you wherever you go. And I'm going to tell you this. Stop listening to other people. Stop listening to other people. What I mean when I say stop listening to other people, I mean listen to people talk. See what they say. If it means something to you, that's just conversation. That's just being real. But letting other people telling you what to do. You better listen to yourself. Only kids listen to other people. Adults grow up and find the way themselves. And having said that, I want to leave it and say, till next time, this is Eddie Marcus saying, I love you, especially my niece.